to this Thursday International Story Call, and it is international today because we've got people listening from all over the Relive world. My name is Leslie Probart. I live in North Yorkshire in England, so for those of you who know New York in America, I live near Old York, so the original York. And it's just the most wonderful place. We don't have any snow. In fact, we have quite mild weather conditions at the moment. But I guess if you're getting it over there, so at some point in the next few days, we'll probably get something over here. But for now, we're experiencing quite a mild autumn. Well, for those of you listening for the first time, you must be wondering what Relive's all about. And Relive is a 25-year-old food science company, but it's powered by the most amazing products and a great business plan because those products work. And what we do on these calls is share the reality of what's actually happening for people, both with the products and with the business. And first of all, I'm going to share my own part of my own story. I've actually been taking these products for nearly 15 years. And my first reason for taking the product was purely to get me through the menopause because I had stroke-level blood pressure and I couldn't take anything like HRT, hormone replacement therapy. But in the summer of 1977, we had a car accident. Thankfully, we were actually stationary at the time, but a car hit us head-on and pushed the engine into my knees. And that caused some enormous damage to the cartilage behind my knees. I was grinding bone on bone. I was in a lot of pain. My knees were what you might call unstable in that I needed a chaperone to cross the road. But the doctors were not happy about giving me knee replacements at my age then, 31. So I was told I would have knee replacements in 2006. Well, as I said, we got started on the products in 2000. And I faithfully took the products. I got great results with my menopausal issues. I had amazing results with my blood pressure, and my doctor took me off that medication that he said I'd be on for the rest of my life. But the pain in my knees went away. And I'm now able to do all the things that I couldn't do before. I couldn't get down on the floor and kneel down. I couldn't garden on my knee, get down on my knees to do any gardening or weeding or anything. I can do all those things now. I can run up and down the stairs. I can cross the road on my own. I don't know whether that cartilage has grown back behind my knees. All I know is it doesn't hurt me anymore. And I am just so grateful to Relive for those reasons. Now, this year, I was scheduled for a foot operation, something that was an inherited condition. I have it on both feet, but the specialist just wanted to deal with the worst one first. And it involved breaking my foot in several places. And they did warn me that it was going to take a lot of time to heal and that I might be quite incapacitated for quite a long time. Well, I'm absolutely delighted to tell you that not very long after I had the operation in June, in August I was walking up hills and trekking around and I was fine. There was a couple of things that I decided were a step too far for me then, but I had to go back and see the specialist just last week to actually arrange for the second foot to be done. And he looked at the first one and he just said, "This is amazing." And the healing was great, but it was just that all my nerves have come back into normal, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with my foot anymore. So I'm quite looking forward to having, it's not very many people who say they're looking forward to having another operation, but I am looking forward to the second operation on my feet because I'm going to have a matching pair then. And I'm just so grateful to Relive that it's actually given me, my body, the opportunity to heal and to actually make a difference to me. I'm now 68 years young. I feel 20, 30 years younger. And Relive is something I will take for the rest of my life, and Relive is something I will share with others for the rest of my life. So for us, it's been just an absolutely exciting journey, and it continues. So that's really what's happened for me. And now I'm going to hop across the pond and get Jennifer to share her experience with Relive. So Jennifer, would you like to come on the line and share with us just what's happened for you? If you press *6, Jennifer, if you're muted, you should be able to get back on.
Okay, I think I'm on.
Yes, you are, Jennifer.
Oh, great. Well, I am Jennifer Ladowick, and I'm from Wyoming, Minnesota, and I am a mom. We have a lot of kids. We have 14 children. We homeschool, and we've adopted 9, and I really wasn't ever a supplementer. We had never really been sick, and about 6 years ago, my goddaughter was a University of Minnesota hockey player, and she was scholarship through the University of Minnesota, and she started to get very, very sick, and no one knew why. It turned out that her bed was up against a wall in the dorm that was full of black mold, and they didn't know it, but it threw her thyroid into overdrive, and they were going to radiate her thyroid in 7 days, and we were all praying for her. And another gal at our church, who was a Relive distributor, would come in and teach our kids gym class for our homeschool kids, and she started to talk to this mom with the hockey player and asked if she'd ever heard of Relive. And they got started, and in 4 days, taking quite a bit of product, she was able to sleep again. She was focusing again. She got a cycle she hadn't had in 2.5 years. She went back to the University of Minnesota endocrinologists, and they were baffled because they said your numbers are in the normal range. We just think it's a fluke, but we want to know what you're doing. And they brought in the product, and the company or the U of M looked at that. The NCAA, who oversees Division I athletes, took a look at it, did some tests, and they came back and said this is just high-powered nutrition. And we're sure that this couldn't have done that. But her thyroid is, to this day, almost 6.5 years later, stayed in that normal range. And it's just really been miraculous for that family. A lot of our kids were from orphanages where they did not get good nutrition. And I thought, wouldn't this be a good thing to give my children? And, I got them started, and then I got started, and my husband, and really, in 7 years, we haven't had one doctor appointment, not one prescription, no co-pays, no strep, no ear infections, nothing with all those kids. On my end, I was having issues with hot flashes, helped me with all of that, a sciatica, slip disc, and a torn rotator cuff, and arthritis in my feet, and I thought I was pretty healthy. My husband's got great results with arthritis too, a big golfer, and so it's helped him with his wrists and hands. But, just as important as our health has been the miraculous business for us, because, with all those children, 14 kids, we adopted 3 from Haiti while we were involved in Relive because of the work they do in Haiti. And, we wouldn't have been able to afford those little kids. And the businesses come in and, we're averaging around $3,000 to $4,000 a month. And gosh, I just don't know what else I would be doing as a busy mom in between all of the activities I'm involved in and all my kids, being able to do this, at church or in between Walmart stops or at the pool or at the lake. I mean, it's been such a gift to our family. Our check last year was over $40,000. So we're just going to always share this, and we're just so grateful to God for it.
Wow, Jennifer, what a great story, and I absolutely agree. I mean, how on earth would you have managed to afford Relive without the business? The business is so key for a lot of people to actually being able to afford to nourish their family in the way that they want to with Relive. It gives you that opportunity to not only help other people but also help your own family. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Sure.
Hats off to you for the 9 adopted children as well as your own children. That is amazing. 14 children in your family. That's just incredible. Thank you so much for sharing your story. We really appreciate you coming on the call.
Sure.
Well, now I'm going to go to Dawn. Dawn, would you like to share with everyone what's happened for you?
Absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yes, fine.
Okay. I'm Dawn Tucci, and I live in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania, and I'm a mom of 3 boys who are now 18, 15, and 13, and I have a background as a registered dietitian, and I also worked in pharmaceuticals, which led to a lot of skepticism when a friend of mine was trying to introduce this company to me. But like a couple of you other ladies, I started experiencing some really severe menopause symptoms almost 10 years ago, the worst being the hot flashes because they were every 1 to 2 hours. I would have an anxiety attack before the hot flash, and I would often end up just soaking wet and having to change my clothes. So I was just miserable, and then depression came. I'd never experienced that before. And then I started experiencing even more headaches than I had all my life. I've always had a monthly migraine about 3 days. But now I'm having three-day monthly migraines. And because of all these issues, not really getting a good night's sleep, I was really becoming exhausted. And I've always been a doer and a high-energy person. So, and I've always been a runner. My knee pain was really starting to become severe. And I remember thinking, my running days were going to be coming to an end. So my friend who'd been trying to share with me came around again. It's good that we don't give up on people. And I sat down with her and I heard the stories and I decided to get started after doing some research. And really that first week I added more hours to my day because instead of falling asleep at 9 o'clock when I was reading a story to my kids, I was awake until 11 or 12 o'clock at night and I was being productive. So that was interesting to me because I'd never seen that through supplementing. But more significantly was the 4th month, and this is a time thing with getting these products in our bodies consistently. But I noticed that my headaches were greatly reduced at that point, and that was really, for me, a turning point. I decided I wanted this in my body long term. I became a master affiliate. My kids all have allergies and used a medication and didn't really control their allergies that well anyway, so I wanted them on the products. I had a friend that I had been sharing the stories that I had been hearing. She wanted the product, so a business kind of began for me. And for myself, I just continued on the products. And in 6 months, my depression was gone, my TMJ pain was gone, my spasm pains like on my back stopped. About a year, my hypoglycemia symptoms were not occurring anymore. And then at about a year and a half, I remember thinking, menopause is about a 10-year thing for women typically. And a year and a half after starting these products, my anxiety, hot flashes, and headaches were just bearable. They weren't gone, but they were greatly reduced. And I remember thinking, I can do this for 10 years. This is doable. But as time went on, the anxiety went away, the headaches went away. I have a warm thing every once in a while. I'm still in menopause. But I just feel more like the me before menopause ever came, yet I'm still in it, and I credit Relive for that. My stamina grows continuously. I'm 10 years older, and you wouldn't think you would have more energy, but I by far have more stamina today than I did when menopause came, and I don't even know how it compares to my 20s and 30s. Can't remember, but I just know that I can do what I want to do today and go to bed when I want to go to bed, and I sleep great. So it has changed so many things about the quality of my life. I did use a functional formula and got back to running pain-free. Actually did a half marathon this past May with no pain and did better than I thought I was going to do. And so I love that. I always want to be active. My kids do use Relive to control their allergies. They're very healthy. We just don't get what other people get in terms of the flu or the cold that's going around. I'm just so thankful for that. And being a dietitian and all the information I had learned and what I thought nutrition could do kind of kept me from the business for a while because I was just seeing things that were hard to believe. But as time went on, I did begin to pursue this more as a business. My youngest, when he went to kindergarten, however, was diagnosed with autism and kind of threw our world upside down. And there's not a lot of time, to work. But in small cracks of time, I've been able to build an income that grows. And I just don't ever want to stop doing what I do today. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy feeling good. And I just feel excited about my future financially and also from a health perspective, excited about what I'll prevent. So I love these products. I'll never stop taking them. Wow, that is great, Dawn. And, as a dietitian, I know I've met very many. That skepticism is perfectly normal because it's not what you've been told or taught. That's right. And that's right. Really, it is the reality of the stories of what has actually happened for people that actually change minds. And it's great that you were open-minded enough to actually take a serious look at Relive and help yourself and your family, and then go on to help others. So I am so thankful for that. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that story.
You're very welcome.
Well, now we're going to go to Luanda. Luanda, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Would you like to share your story for us?
I'm glad to do that. I'm always glad to be able to help people and offer some encouragement, I hope, with what's happened with me. I'm Luanda Ford from Arvada, Colorado, just outside of Denver. I started on the Relive products almost 7 years ago now. I was looking for help because I was desperately suffering from hives. The hives that I had grew into saucer size, itching, burning welts, and I was so miserable it hurt to wear clothes. I'd had them for 8 months when I heard about Relive, and I had been looking and trying everything I could find, and nothing was working. My degree is in home economics, so I understood something about nutrition, and this just made sense to me. After I started on the shakes, right away I slept better, and I had more energy in just a few days. Then in just a few weeks, my sinuses improved, and I realized I'd not had a migraine. I've had migraines since I was 8 years old, and it seemed like one after the other. For several years, I suffered with migraines or sinus headaches or stress headaches, one right after the other, so I was just living with headaches. And I don't have headaches anymore. It took about 5 months before the hives were completely gone. But what a relief. And had it not been for those other things that happened along the way, I might not have stuck with it. But since the hives have gone away completely, I've torn both of the rotator cuffs in my shoulders and not had surgery in either one. I've had a bout with plantar fasciitis and with Achilles tendinitis, and I just increased the amount of Relive that I took and did the physical therapy that was suggested for me, and I have no problems with either of those anymore either. I introduced this to my sister right after I started, and we were very blessed that 3 years ago, when she nearly died with a staph infection, she had been on the Relive products about 2.5 years already. And it was several days before she went to the hospital. And when the doctor saw her and determined it was a staph infection, they told her she should have been dead 3 or 4 days before she got to the hospital. She continued to take the Relive while she was in the hospital, and when I went to take care of her, I was giving her 6 shakes a day. She's recovered beautifully and had no problems with that. And we credit Relive for saving her life. My mother had help with her heart, my father with Alzheimer's. I just discovered Relive shortly before he died, but we could tell a difference in his Alzheimer's just in the last few months before he died. I really was not looking for a business when I found Relive. I was taking care of my parents. I was a very active Boy Scout leader. I run a nonprofit organization from home that I founded in 2001 that supports our troops. I was volunteering at church and school. My son was still at home, so I really didn't feel like I had time for a business. But I did want to get the best price that I could. And right away I did share with some family members, and I had a $300 bonus my first month, and my check was almost $800. So I felt very blessed to have found Relive. Day after day, I am thankful that I have found it. I've also had help with severe back pain after a near head-on collision. And there was a period of time when I could not bend over to pick something up off the floor without excruciating pain. And now, every time I bend over like that, I thank God because I do it without pain. I am so thankful for Relive, and I'll never stop taking it and never stop sharing it with people as long as I can keep talking.
Yeah, we're all alike in that sense, Luanda. Thank you so much for sharing your story. That is, so many of our stories link. I sometimes think, well, if you were listening for the first time, what would you think? Well, we're all just normal people, and these are experiences we've actually personally had. But I would just say at this point that Relive doesn't make any claims for cures. We don't diagnose anything. It's just about putting the right fuel in your body. And when you do that, it's amazing what your body can achieve. And as Luanda just said, sometimes your body deals with things, in its own order. And the main thing that you may be looking for relief from maybe a bit further down the line. And that's why we ask people to be consistent and persistent with Relive, because it doesn't always work in the order that we would like it to. Our bodies will actually make their own minds up about what they're going to sort out first. So as Luanda said, if she'd have been waiting just for that first result on the hive she was looking for, she probably wouldn't have stuck it out for 5 months. But in the process, she got all those other results that kept her on the right track, and now everything is sunny in her life. So that is wonderful. I'd like to thank everybody who shared on the call today. Some amazing stories, and it's really key that we introduce people to these stories, that people hear that reality on a regular basis. So do encourage people to listen to the calls, to get on three-way calls with you, to hear stories. I just want to say we don't have a call next week because there's a little event coming up, and I'd like to wish everybody over the pond there a happy Thanksgiving. But we won't be there next Thursday, so the very next call will be on December the 4th. And we have some great stories already lined up for you. Joni and I we sort out the speakers for this call. Thank you, Joni. Hope that you're driving carefully in that snow. We sort out the speakers for this call, and usually we're rushing around at the last minute trying to find people, but we've actually got ourselves organised this time, and we've already got that call set up for the December the 4th, and you've got a treat in there for you. So don't miss that call. Get people on that call. They're going to just love hearing the stories we've got lined up. And then, of course, we'll have another couple of calls before Christmas, and then we'll have a little break. So with that, I'm going to open the lines up so everybody can say goodbye, and happy Thanksgiving again.
Thank you. That was a great call. Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.